You're listening to the Mastering Money in Midlife podcast, episode 8.
Welcome to Mastering Money in Midlife, a podcast for midlife women in business to overcome financial anxiety and make more money without burning out or sacrificing their families. Join certified life and money coach Debbie Sasson as she shares practical business strategies and mindset shifts that help you dissolve the money blocks that keep you stuck in a cycle of under-earning and under-saving, sabotage the growth of your business, and prevent you from building the wealth that you desire.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to 2022. Happy New Year. And I'm just going to open by wishing everybody good health, happiness, blessings, abundance, and prosperity in the new year. I don't know how your New Year's celebrations were. Since I've been living in Israel, which is 33 and a half years, I haven't done really anything for New Year's. It seems to be a relic of the past. I vaguely remember when I was in school that I would have friends over and there was the ball dropping in Times Square and we would watch it on television. But I don't have a lot of memories of New Year's. I guess it's just been a really long time. But this year, New Year's Eve was Friday night. It was the Sabbath, the Shabbat, and it was a beautiful time to celebrate the day, which was just another day of the year, with my family, and that's what we did. We had our challah together, our chicken soup together, our chicken and potatoes, and we just enjoyed the warmth of being in each other's company and celebrating the Sabbath. So welcome wherever you are in the world, whatever you did. And I hope that we're really opening the doors, opening to the portal to a new, beautiful, abundant year. I have some exciting news for this podcast. I'm going to be announcing the winners of the book bundle bonus for those of you who rated and reviewed and followed my podcast. Thank you very much to everybody who participated. I'm going to announce the 5 winners at the end. So stay on and you'll get to find out who they are. I'm sure that everybody is really curious. So today we are going to talk about under-earning. I thought that was a great topic to start the year because as you're making your plans for the year, you're setting your goals. And if you haven't yet set a goal, an income goal, money goal for 2022, I encourage you to look back and listen to last week's podcast, Believing Ahead of Time, about the importance of goals, even setting audacious goals and really being able to stretch yourself and believe that whatever you want is possible. So set your goals. And today we're going to talk about under-earning. And I think there is a connection between setting a goal and not letting yourself be an under-earner. And I'm going to break it down into 4 different types of under-earning. Okay, the first type we're going to talk about is under-earning, where you're not even making enough money to meet your basic needs. So if your needs are not getting met and you don't have enough income to cover all of your expenses, but the basic expenses that you need, and we're going to talk about how your brain can get very tricky and trick you into believing you need more than you actually do. So that's under-earning type number 1. Number 2 is you are under-earning if you're not able to cover the things that you want and desire in your life. And that can be a comfortable way of living, or it can be actually a very abundant, affluent, a real ultimate aspirational type of living. And you know your personality and the way you enjoy living, and whatever that is for you, there's no judgment. You get to decide for you what's really important. The third type of under-earning we're going to talk about is that you are sharing value with the world, but you're not getting paid the money that you want to be receiving for the value that you share. And I'm going to describe that as we go along. And the fourth type of under-earning is that you can create a lot of valuable resources, like, let's say, a podcast or a blog or a course. There is so much genius inside you, and I really believe that we all have tremendous amounts of genius inside of us, and you have the potential to share what's inside your beautiful brain and mind with the world and receive more money for that. Okay, so that's 4 types of under-earning. Let's just start at the basic level. We all have needs that need, quote unquote, to be covered with money. We have a need for food. We have a need for housing. We want to be able to stay warm in the winter. We're now in January. It's cold in the Northern Hemisphere. We want to be able to have electricity, right? There are basic needs that we would like to cover with the income that we earn. And what happens with a lot of people is that they find that they're always like living paycheck to paycheck, month to month, and they're hand to mouth, right? And their basic needs, they're always scrambling in order to cover their basic needs, or they're going into debt because they're not earning enough to cover their basic needs. What often I discover when I work with people one-on-one is that people don't even really know how much money they need on a month-to-month or a year-to-year basis, and how they can sort of reverse engineer their income to cover their basic needs. So there are 2 things that I want to highlight. Number 1 is that we can actually trick ourselves into believing that we need more things than we really do. So if you're listening to this podcast, it's pretty clear to me that you're listening to it on an electronic device. And we might actually believe that we need our electronic devices. And indeed, so much of our society has moved over to technology where we can kind of trick ourselves into thinking, yeah, I need an iPhone. I need the latest iPhone. I need to upgrade it. And it's for my business, of course. I need to upgrade my computer. And if your computer is 8 years old and you do use it for business, I'm not suggesting that you don't upgrade your computer. I did that a couple of years ago, so I totally get it. My computer was as slow as a very old turtle. Anyway, so there are things that you are using, business equipment and otherwise, but we are very used to using like the navigators, the GPS Waze on our phone to get us from point A to point B. And we can trick ourselves into believing, oh, I need a phone. Otherwise, how am I going to be able to get from my house to this place that I want to go to? And I just want to remind you that maybe like 15 or 20 years ago, it could be even less, like none of us had navigators on our phone or navigators in our car. And somehow we figured it out with a map. So we don't really need, I totally admit that it makes my life so much easier that I can get from A to B by having the navigator on my phone, but we can definitely fool ourselves into believing that we need things, or we need to have extracurricular activities for our children. We need to have more clothes, another pair of shoes, another blouse. Oh, it's winter and I haven't upgraded my wardrobe this year, right? And there are a lot of things that if you would go through your spending, I'm not even saying your budget because maybe you don't have one and that's, totally okay. But when you do have a budget or when you are tracking your spending, a lot of things come to light. And when you have that awareness, it gives you the opportunity to make changes and to really get onto yourself and say, hey, is this a need or is this a want? And I remember many years ago, 45 years ago, let's say, when I was 13 years old, and it was Hanukkah. And if you remember from episode number 3, I mentioned that my dad had been working and he was made redundant. His boss was my mom's father, his ex-father-in-law. When my dad got remarried, his ex-father-in-law let him go, which was understandable. But that year for Hanukkah, it was a very skinny year in terms of spending. There wasn't a lot of disposable income. And my dad gathered us all together and he said, hey, this year there's not going to be a lot of money for Hanukkah. And I remember as a 13-year-old, I got one turtleneck sweater for Hanukkah. Now, I have to say that I loved that turtleneck. It was this like ribbed material and it was stripes, different colors. It had this beautiful like lavender color. I really, really loved and appreciated my turtleneck. And at about that age, I was 13, my 13 and a half. My sister was about 12 and my stepmom. And we were all kind of like the size where we could start changing and exchanging and borrowing each other's clothes. And I coveted my sweater and I didn't want to let anybody else wear it because I really, really loved it. Also in that year, I wanted to go away to music camp. I was finishing 8th grade at the time, and I was in choir, and our music teacher had told a few of us that we were talented, and she recommended that in order to improve our singing skills, that we go away to a certain music camp. If you're from the California area, it's called Isamara, the Idlewild School of Music and the Arts. It's connected with USC, and I wanted to go. And my dad was also very clear that there was no money that year for summer camp. So being the determined and industrious teenager that I was, and very strong-willed, I decided that I was going to music camp and I was going to earn the money. So what does a 13-year-old do? I did babysitting, I did tutoring, I taught English, and I taught math to children who were younger than I was. I went with my friend Nina down to the Youth Employment Service. Now, the Youth Employment Service let you sign up, and they had a lot of people who advertised for jobs. You had to be 14. I was going to be 14 in July because my birthday is July 24th. Remember that, okay? So I might have accidentally fudged that I was born in 1962 and rather than 1963, so that I was already 14 and I could get jobs through the Youth Employment Service. And I also got jobs cleaning house. And one of the jobs that I had cleaning house was for a family, and their son was in class with me in school. It was a little bit embarrassing, but I think that he was actually away. I don't remember that we actually ran into each other when I was in his house cleaning. I do remember that his room was a mess. That's about it. But I was so determined to send myself to music camp that I was willing to clean houses, to be embarrassed, by showing up in the house of somebody who was a schoolmate of mine, and just to do what it takes to get what I wanted and to earn the money for the things that I wanted to do. And I fully accepted that my dad didn't have the money. And I want to offer that as an example for parents today, because our children come to us, and I'm a mother of 8 children. Our children come to us with wants and needs and desires. And as a parent, we want with all of our heart to be able to give our children so much of what they ask for. And sometimes we just can't. Like if there isn't enough money to pay the bills, to eat basic food, I'm not talking about fancy food, or, to have electricity and running water, which we could argue running water is a need in 2022. We've all gotten pretty used to that. And our children want to go to summer camp, and you might think it's going to be a real disaster if you don't send them to summer camp. I'm just offering you the opportunity to think about it in a different way. And perhaps there is an alternative that is available to you if you really need the money for other expenses in your life. I also would recommend that one of your financial needs is putting money away for your retirement. And I believe that your need for money in a pension or retirement comes before a lot of the spending that you might want to spend on your children. I think that if we look at statistics, most of us are going to live into our 80s, maybe even into our 90s, and medical technology and development is such that we really do have to plan for, a long, extended old age. And if you don't have money to take care of yourself, and we have talked about this before, you don't want to have to get out of your rocking chair at 85 or 90 and go back to work. Like you really do need to plan for your financial future. Now, if you're listening to this podcast and you're in your 20s, we might have some wiggle room here to delay putting money into your pension plan until your 30s, or you might want to just have small contributions to your pension plan, but you do need to take care of your financial future. Your kids are always going to be younger than you are. They're always going to have that strength and longevity that you're not going to have, and they're going to have other opportunities to make money that you're not going to have when you're 70 and 80 and 90 years old. So your financial future, I believe today, is a need, and it should come before many other expenses that you might be directing to cover, quote unquote needs, wants, and desires of your children. Okay, so that's the very basic need level. And if you're not making enough money to cover your basic needs, then you're under earning. Okay, and then we get to the wants and your desires. And that is a very broad category, right? You might be wanting to upgrade your car, upgrade your house, have vacations, have better quality food, right? You might want to have organic food, and that costs more money, right? There are so many different types of expenses that come under wants and desires, and you know you. And it makes a lot of sense, depending on how much you're earning and how you're covering your expenses, to really break down how much you would love to be spending in different categories, right? There's your household expenses, transportation expenses, education for you, education for your children, gifts, right? As a mother of 8, a grandmother of 12, just gifts for my family can cost a lot of money during the course of the year. And then I have friends, and my friends are, marrying off their children, and my friends' children are having grandchildren. And the expenses just on gifts can really grow and expand to large numbers if I don't watch what's going on. And it's lovely to spend, and it's lovely to give, and it's lovely to share in somebody's celebration by giving a financial gift. But again, if you're not putting money into your retirement plan and you're spending money on gifts for lots of other people, then you're really robbing your future self of financial security. So let's just bring it back to wants and desires. Really go through and look at your life. Like, do you want to upgrade the mattresses in your bedroom because you've been living with them for 30 years? And my husband and I did that 3 years ago. Is there furniture in your house that is falling apart and you would love to upgrade it? Is your house getting too small for the size family that you now have and you want to move into a larger house? So these come under wants and desires. And in 2022, we really are living in the age of abundance, and we can look around and we can compare ourselves with our neighbors and people across town. And there is so much plenty around us that our wants can seem limitless, and we can really get carried away with wanting things. And I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't want more things, but really be onto yourself and notice what's for you and what is there on your want and desire list that is there to impress your neighbors, and where does your under earning versus, your expenses come in. And it's going to be a very fine, delicate point, and each person and each family, each couple is an individual, and you have to look at it just like that. But if your income is not covering your wants and desires and you would like to upgrade your life, then you have to think about ways that you can increase your earning in order to cover it. So that's just like a different level of under earning, where you can get out of that very, very, very sort of narrow needs-based kind of living and live more comfortably. And then there's the living luxuriously way that you might also want to be living. Okay, number 3 is sharing value with the world, but not getting paid for it. And this is what I wanted to share as an example. I was thinking of teachers and nurses and so many people in the helping professions. I have a daughter who is an occupational therapist. I have a daughter-in-law who is a speech therapist in Israel, and they're working for, the health funds here, and they're paid what I consider very low wages. They have a lot that they're giving, tremendous value. They're helping children and adults have skills and heal and be able to integrate better into society. But because they're working for the health funds, they're getting paid very low. Or people that are, working as teachers. I think teachers are probably our most valuable resource, or one of our most valuable resources in society, and teachers give so much. I have a daughter who's also a teacher, teaches high school, and I think that we undervalue and underpay our teachers. And some people go into these professions and willingly, let's say, under-earn. They're choosing these professions, and they do it understanding ahead of time that their salaries are going to be low. but they're still under earning because the value to earnings relationship is skew. If they were in the private sector rather than in the public sector, they could be earning so much more. And it's a choice, right? And everybody makes their choices, and families and couples make their choices, right? If you think about people who are working in volunteer positions or for nonprofits, right? People do make choices, and that's okay. But if you are in a situation where you are under earning relative to the value that you share with the world, and you would like to earn more because you need to, because you want to, because you desire to earn more, I just want to offer you to just look and just notice and just come clean with yourself and say, yeah, I'm under earning and I want to earn more. And then you can go and look outside of yourself, outside of your, sort of where you are now, for other opportunities where you could be earning more. And in fact, I remember a woman about 6 months ago, she responded to one of my posts that I put up on Facebook, and she had been influenced by the content that I was sharing regularly on social media. And part of that is that she moved out of the nonprofit sector to the for-profit sector. She increased her income by 30%. And also when she went to negotiate her wage package, she got more vacation days and she got better health care. I don't remember all of the details, but she did recognize that she had a lot of value to bring to the world, and it was time for her to get paid for it. And in fact, when I was working for the government in Israel, when I worked at the Bank of Israel, that was my situation also. I had a lot of value to share, but as a mother of many young children, it was very convenient for me to be working for the government, where every time I had a baby, and I had lots of them, I could take 6 months off and nobody could fire me because I had a tenured position with the government. And I also had extra insurance plans. And if I had a baby, I could leave early. There was special hours for working mothers, for nursing mothers. It was very convenient. And at the same time, I knew based on the value that I was sharing that I was under earning. And when it was time, that's when I left. Fourth type of under earning is that you have so much value to share with the world, but you're not sharing enough of it in enough ways in order to get paid for all of the genius in your brain, right? So for example, I'm just going to give the example of this podcast, which obviously I'm offering to all of my beautiful listeners for free, but it's what we call that one-to-many type of offer. I'm one person and I'm sharing what I have to offer with many people who are listening at the same time. And again, this is a free offer, and I consider all of you my free clients. If you're listening in, you are my client. I consider you my client, and we get to enjoy this relationship for free. Right now, I'm working as a business and money coach, one-on-one with my clients. And at some point in the future, I will offer a group program where I will share value to more people at the same time. And then it will be a higher income earning offer for me because I'll be sharing the same type of value, which is going to be a tremendous amount of value, with more people at the same time. So you also can search inside the value that you're sharing with the world and ask yourself, is there a way for me to share what I have with more people at the same time and get paid more? And you are under earning if you have more to share, more lives to touch, more people who you can help them improve, stop suffering, get out of pain, enjoy more, have more happiness, have more pleasure, have more income, right? You are under earning if you are not sharing what you have with more people, and you want to be sharing what you have with more people and making more money. All right, my friends, that's what I have to offer you today. Let me just recap the 4 different types of under-earning that there are. Number 1, you are under-earning if you're not covering your basic needs. Number 2, you are under-earning if you have wants and desires that you would like to spend money on, and you're not bringing in enough money to cover your wants and to cover your desires. Number 3, you're under-earning if you are sharing value with the world, but you're not getting paid money that reflects the value that you're sharing and you want to get paid more money. Again, if you want to work in the nonprofit sector, if you want to volunteer and share what you have and not get paid or get paid low wages, and you're fine with that, that's beautiful. But if you have value and you want to get paid more, that opportunity is out there for you as well. And number 4, you're under-earning if you can share more value with more people and get paid more. So you know who you are, you know where you are. Take a moment to be introspective and ask yourself, as we move into 2022, how can you rewrite your money story so that you stop under-earning in whatever ways you are under-earning now? Is it raising prices? Is it inviting more people into your space? Is it switching jobs? Is it switching what you do? And I invite you to rewrite your money story and get paid more money. All right, that's what I have for you. And now I'm really excited to announce the 5 winners of the book bundle bonus for those people who followed, rated, and reviewed this show. So number 1 is Lauren Allen Nutrition. Number 2 is Batchen Grossman. Number 3, Yocheved Kornfeld. Number 4, Shira Brown. And number 5, Lisa. I don't have your last name, Lisa. Shopping for Lisa 1103 at gmail.com. I will be in your inboxes soon so I can get your addresses and sharing with you those 5 books, including my book, The 1K Investor, Simple, Smart Steps to Start Investing with $1,000 or Less. Have a beautiful January. Welcome to 22, and I look forward to helping you rewrite your story with money, redefine your relationship with money, and make more money. Bye for now. Hey, if you want a flash of fresh financial inspiration and actionable tips to rewrite and master your relationship with money every week in your inbox, you better get on my email list. Sign up to receive my free Money Mindset Workbook. It's been known to get people making more, investing more, and having warm, fuzzy money conversations with their partners. So get on that link in the show notes, and I'll see you in your inbox.
Thanks for listening to Mastering Money in Midlife. If you want more information on Debbie Sasson or the resources from the podcast, visit masteringmoneyinmidlife.com.